Thank you for joining us on the Everyday Jesus Podcast, a podcast for everyday Christians seeking to follow Jesus every day. I am your host, Brian Boswell. So today we are going to finish out our series on American Idolatry. Now, over the past several weeks, we have discussed how idolatry is found throughout our culture. You can see where we have made idols out of some very good things that God calls good. And these idols, they can't save us. Money, sex, identity, family, these are all very good things, but only when they are in their rightful place. And too often we elevate these items to the position of God, and that's when they cease to be good things, but rather they become idols. So today we are going to look at one more area of idolatry. Today we are going to discuss the idol of entertainment. Now, this idol is found throughout our lives. We are constantly bombarded with distractions in the form of entertainment. Over the past 10 years, it almost seems like it's multiplied. We now carry around these smartphones in our pockets so that we can stay entertained all hours of the day. And part of the problem is that once you get in the habit of constantly being entertained, it's incredibly hard to stop. Instead of drugs, we have generations of people addicted to cell phones and Netflix. And like people who are addicted to anything else, we tell ourselves, well, I can quit at any time. But is that the truth? Is it? No, of course not. We can't quit. The addiction has a hold on us. And I see people at church even checking Facebook and Instagram because, we can't get through that hour-long service without seeing what our friends are up to. Now, I could go whole hog and say, hey, we just need to get rid of all forms of entertainment. We need to cut the cord, pull the cell phone out in the drawer, tell your friends you're getting rid of Facebook, but I don't think that's the answer either. I don't think that that's an answer. I mean, maybe you need to cut some parts of entertainment out, the things that you're really struggling with, maybe you do. But I don't think that's the overall answer, not for most people. And here's what else I think. I think entertainment mediums, so like so many other things that we've discussed in this series, I think entertainment can actually be a good thing if it's used in a godly way. And the problem with addictions, though, is that when we are addicted to something, what we're doing is we are making it into a god in our lives. We are giving it all of our time, affection, and attention. And that should be given to God alone. God alone is worthy of our love and adoration. Not these entertainments, these devices, these iPads and music and whatever else it is that just takes away our time from God. If we find that we're more excited to talk about the newest Netflix show rather than talking about our King, then we really should reevaluate our relationship with the Father. And I wonder what is causing this. It's like we're scared of being bored. We're scared of the quiet. We're scared to be alone with our thoughts. Maybe we're just scared. Fear of boredom shouldn't be a motivator for entertainment, but I think it is for a lot of people. I read an article a few months back, and it was talking about Netflix's primary competitor. Now, if you follow the streaming services out there, you would think that the article would have been about maybe Amazon Prime or Disney Plus or the new Apple TV, but it wasn't. It seems that Netflix thinks that its primary competitor is sleep. Yep, you heard that right. It seems that Netflix thinks that its primary competitor is sleep. And my question is, are they wrong? I mean, I know so many people that binge watch television shows that they end up staying up most of the night getting in that one last episode. And they go through the next day like a zombie, and then they do it all again the next night. And the truth is, they would watch more if it weren't for having to go to sleep. And that, to me, is insanity. But it happens all the time. So maybe it's the boredom or the quiet that does scare us. Now, typically with idolatry, we see the idol functionally taking the place of God as well. So functionally, when we are spending our time being entertained, we are losing time that we could be spending with God, time that we could be spending in His Word. I hear a lot of Christians say that they would love to read the Bible more or pray more or serve more, but they can't because they don't have the time. They don't have the time, yet they spend whatever free time they have being entertained by something. And I'm speaking of myself here too. It's so easy to be distracted these days with all of the trappings of entertainment out there. It takes intentional actions on our part as Christians to make sure that entertainment doesn't become an idol. So if you feel like entertainment has become an idol, here are 3 ways that I have found that you can put entertainment back in its proper place. Now, number 1, and this is the one that I use most often, is schedule entertainment. That's right. If you can schedule it, you're more likely to do it. Scheduling time on the television or the iPad can help ensure that you don't overdo it. Allow a certain amount of time for entertainment, and then when your time is up, cut it off. If you can stick to a schedule, this can be very helpful for you. So if you say, well, I'm only going to use my cell phone during these hours, as far as, getting on it to check Facebook or Instagram, or I'm going to only watch television from 9 to 10 o'clock at night, and then I'm going to cut it off. Those are respectable goals. Those are things that you can work towards. But if you don't have a goal, if you don't schedule it, it's not going to happen. You're just going to complain, man, I can't believe I just wasted 3 hours and I'm just staring at my phone. Well, you didn't have a goal. You didn't have anything in mind. You've got to look at it as a scheduling event. I'm going to schedule this amount of time to do this. If you don't, you just get lost, and the next thing you know, you look up and you've watched an entire hour go by and you've done nothing. So, number 1, schedule entertainment. Number 2, if you aren't a scheduling person, delay it. Every time you feel the need to be entertained, purposefully put it off for like 30 minutes or an hour or a day. Whatever you can do. Whatever works best for you. When you feel that itch in your hand to grab your cell phone, tell yourself, let's delay this for a while. Let me put it off for another 30 minutes. Let me put it off for another 10 minutes. Whatever it is, see if you can delay it. Because you'll find what happens is that the more you delay it, the less you really need it. The less you see that you're going to, you'll get used to not having it and not using it. And you'll be surprised how well that works. It's a bit more painful, I think, than the scheduling method, but it can be quite useful in cutting the amount of time that you spend on a device or being entertained. So delay it if you can. Schedule it's number 1, delay it's number 2, number 3 is cut the cord. That's right. Right here. If you find that you have no other way of getting rid of something in your life, if it's an idol, at one point you're going to have to say it's either the idol or it's God. I got to choose. If you can't find ways to curb the habit and put it in its proper place, then I think it's time to call and cancel that streaming service. Jesus said, he put it this way, if your right hand causes you to sin, cut it off. If you can't control the habit, then it's just best to get rid of the temptation. Again, that's not for everybody. That's not an answer all for everybody out there, but what it is it's kind of that last ditch effort. If you can't find ways to make the scheduling work out in your favor or the delaying tactic to work, then just get rid of it. Kill it. Get done with it. Cancel it. Whatever you got to do. Throw it in the drawer. Put it away. But you gotta find ways to put God in His place and put entertainment in its place. So there you go. There's 3 good ways to help you fight the addiction of entertainment. But before we go today, I do want to spend just a minute encouraging you to switch your mindset on something. And here's what I mean. God has made us in His image, and He is a creator. He's actually really big into creation. He paints the most beautiful sunsets that you'll ever see, and the mountains just scream his glory and his beauty. They're beyond comparison. And you're made in his image. That means you should be like him. You should be creating. So I urge you to be more than just a consumer of entertainment, but go out and make good quality entertainment. Christians deserve good quality entertainment, and it's your job to find ways to provide that. Don't settle into the idea that you aren't creative or that someone else can do it better. Step up and do it. So to end the show today, I'm just going to quote a few Bible verses that I hope will encourage you to find ways to be more creative, to go out there and use that God-given talent that he has given you. Maybe it's not to create television shows. Maybe it's to create beautiful pieces of art. Whatever it is, do that and do it to the best of your ability. So the first verse, Ephesians 2:10 says this, "For we are his workmanship, created in Christ Jesus for good works, which God prepared beforehand that we should walk in them." That gives us this idea that God has a plan and a purpose, and it's a creative purpose for us. So we are created to be creative. We are created for good works. We are his workmanship. So we should be like him, creating as we go. Exodus 25:31-32 says, "And he has filled him with the Spirit of God, with skill, with intelligence, with knowledge, and with all craftsmanship, to devise artistic designs, to work in gold and silver and bronze." Wow. So the things, the talents and the skills that we have, whether it's the intelligence and knowledge or the craftsmanship, the ability to devise artistic designs, these are all things that God has given us. These are gifts and talents that God has given us, and we need to use them. We need to use those for his glory. Last verse, Proverbs 22:29 puts it this way, "Do you see a man skillful in his work? He will stand before kings. He will not stand before obscure men." God has a plan for people who will take the skills that they've been given, the skillful ways in which they do work, in which they create, and he has a way of elevating those people. That's a simple proverb. If you are going out and you're doing something, I can guarantee you're already not better than 90% of the population out there who's just going to consume whatever's out there. Go out and create something. Go do something different with your life. Don't be just a consumer. Be a creator. So I want to thank you for joining us today. I hope you enjoyed the show. I hope you enjoyed this series on American Idolatry. Give us some feedback. Send me an email, feedback@everydayjesus.net. Like and share our page on Facebook. Follow us on Twitter. Consider being a club member. It costs just $5 a month. We are looking for help covering the podcast hosting cost and the website charges. And you can visit our website at any time, www.everydayjesus.net. I hope you guys have a very blessed week.